Welcome everybody back to Conversation Chronicles with your girl Tasha checking in. Listen, family, I'm glad you could be here today because I'm recording on the weekend, so I'm excited to come to you with a real quick video. Listen, I want to get right into this relationship talk, but today I'm going to be talking to those who want to be married. The married folks, I'm finally coming down your lane. Really, I'm not sure if it's going to resonate more with the women or the men, but either way, all this talk today stemmed from a conversation I had with a chaplain from a different religion than I practice. And we were talking about relationships and how the primary basis, the foundational principles of marriage are technically all the same, okay? You don't want anybody to cheat on you. You want to be respected. And this is a lifelong partner. So ultimately, you want to make sure that you are being loved on. You want to make sure they understand your love language. You want to make sure you're with somebody who really doesn't make you fantasize or wonder what's going on outside of your marriage. And you know what? It's a covenant and it's a vow and it's honorable to be married. So before I waste any more time, I had a conversation and I was exposed to, I don't know if it would be called a parable or it was just a story, but anyway, it's called the story of 11 women and their husbands. I'm going to be reading a couple of things because I want to make sure that I give you the principles, and because it's a real story out there, and it's called the story of 11 women and husbands, right? But there were so many principles. Now, when it was originally given to me and I was like, oh, you should read it, I was like, yeah, no, we good. But I said, you know what? We can learn something from everyone. So I'm going to read a couple of comments from the 11 wives. Let me back up. So there was 11 wives who were told to describe their husbands without identifying the husband, or describe your husband without telling the problems that you have, and basically bringing other people into the intimacy that you experience in your marriage, which is so key because, I always got to raise my hand raised the moment something goes bad, and it usually does because there's seasons in marriage. You want to complain, you want to expose it, but that's something that shouldn't be exposed unless you're doing counseling or what have you between you and your significant other. Because again, respect, honor, love, these are all things, especially with men. And I'll tell you why that's important at the end. So I'm going to read you a couple of these comments that these women in this story parable said, and then at the end I'm gonna tell you 3 principles which were used, and I was like, wow, it kind of hurt my feelings, but you know what, it was something that made me think, so I had to bring it to the family. Okay, so here we go. In describing, there was 11, okay, in describing the first woman's husband, wife number 1 said, my husband is like the meat of a skinny camel on top of a rough, rocky mountain, which is neither easy to climb, nor is the meat desirable, so that one might put up with the trouble of fetching it. Did that sound good? Absolutely not. When I read that, this is what I got out of that. I got out of that basically, not only did she say that he was the skinny meat on top of a camel, immediately, now I'm just imagining that these are my girlfriends describing this to me. I'm thinking, don't nobody want no camel meat. 1, it's the worst meat. 2, if it's the skinny meat on top of a camel, that ain't even worth me even wanting to eat that meat, because it is a little bit tiny morsels of meat, which led me believe a couple of things. She described it as him being a rough and rocky mountain, and she said neither easy to climb nor is the meat desirable. So I said, okay, so I am interpreting this the right way. I couldn't believe it. So listen, this woman is describing her spouse now. This is her husband, right? As being unattractive, difficult, right? Hard to live with, undesirable. And what else? Stingy. He's stingy because he ain't really got no meat. Whatever that means. Look, he ain't got no money probably. Just bad. Now imagine, I'm talking to the men, I'm talking to the women, I'm talking to the married folks and the people who want to be married. Imagine how someone else is listening to them describe their mate. This is somebody they're supposed to spend the rest of their life with. Moving on. Wife number 2. My husband is so bad that indeed I shall not relate his news. for I fear that I may not be able to finish his story. For if I describe him, I will mention all his defects and bad traits. I'm sorry. How many of y'all heard that friend or heard somebody talking about a bad marriage like that? She couldn't even tell you the details. She said in describing this man, and what she said, I can't even do it. He's so bad. She just started out. That was the first. How sad is that? Come on, we're talking about people who are living. There are whole people in marriages right now who are miserable. And there are people who are watching them be miserable in their marriage thinking, I don't want to be married. What I need to be married for? I'm going to shack up, get the ring, have intimacy, whatever that looks like, live together, whatever. Because this is the type of stuff they're hearing. We got to do better, married people. She said he was so bad that I shall not relate his news. Now that's bad. Okay, she said she feared. Now that was a clear indicator to me. I said, girl, my ears is going up when I'm reading this. That I fear that I may not be able to finish his story. For if I describe him, I will mention all the defects. Listen, from that I hear she fears him. He has bad character. Ain't nothing good about him. She don't like him. Listen. She said it was so many things. Like, how do you talk about somebody you live with and married and covenant with, and you say there's too many bad things? That means she don't like him. She don't like you. Second man's husband thing, whatever you want to call it. She don't like that man. So she don't respect that man. She ain't thinking nothing about that man. Matter of fact, been there. She don't like him so much, so she don't even want to talk about him. She already checked out of that marriage. But guess what? She probably still in that marriage, staying there, because guess what? It's a covenant. She's like, Now you think what you think she doing? I'll wait. When somebody come by she prefers, or somebody give her attention, I'm helping you out, men. I'm helping us out, women. When somebody give her attention is something who she actually would desire. Listen, this is so sad to me. Moving on. Wife number 3. She said, my husband is a tall man. If I describe him and he hears of that, he will divorce me. He will divorce me. And if I keep quiet, he will neither divorce me nor treat me as a wife. Did y'all hear what they said? I said, wait a minute. So not only is this person, she's talking, I said, why did she say he was tall? So in my mind, if that means it's tall, she's intimidated. So I'm thinking she little. This is a little lady who she in an abusive relationship. Because how are you sitting here talking about you scared of your husband, and the first thing you can say he's tall? Like, you don't really want to describe him, but that means she's intimidated by his stature, right? And she said, if he hears me describing him, and we didn't even talk about details, he'll divorce me. Now, who you know in a marriage like that too afraid to speak up because they are afraid of losing everything they work for? They might be the person that's being taken care of by their husband. They may have been on the come up, right? Come on, ladies. When they married, they might have married for money. So she ain't worried about it. She ain't talking about love. And she says, if I keep quiet. Now, this what really got me. If I keep quiet, he will neither divorce me nor treat me like a wife. Did you hear that? So basically, if she talk about him or not, he still ain't gonna honor her. He's still not treating her like a wife. And even if she did say something about it, if she thought she was gonna say something about it, you out the door. So it's just better she just exists. That's a sad place to be. It's nothing funny about being in a loveless marriage. And this sounds like somebody who might be experiencing depression over their marriage, and they'll probably be wearing it on their face. So I'm just gonna move on. Wife number 4. I know this is good because it shocked me. Now it's kind of deep for me, but I had to present it because I was like, wow, it really made me think. Okay. Wife number 4. My husband is a moderate person, like the night of, she said Tiamat, whatever that is. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, but it's basically a village in Saudi Arabia, which is splendid. So that was a good thing. And she said, it's neither hot nor cold. I am neither afraid of him, nor am I discontented with him. Okay, so I said right there, finally we have a wife that is talking good about her spouse. What is she saying? To me, I heard he's a great companion. She said he's not good or bad. She said what? He's kind, he's good mannered, he has a good temper. So this sounds like somebody who's probably in the season of their marriage where they cruising. They probably got it together, been through the downs, been through the ups, and she's just happy. Moving on. I don't have too much to say about that. That's a pretty good conversation, right? We'll see. These get better. The fifth wife said, my husband, when entering the house, is a leopard, and when going out, he is a lion, and he does not ask about whatever is in the house. I thought this was also a good compliment. I said, girl, I thought to myself, I said, I might have to use that, because think about it. Come on, wives. Come on, people. Come on. You've been married. You live with somebody. How important is it in key that the first thing she went to was when my husband was entering the house? She said when he enters the house, he is a leopard. Now, to me, a leopard is beautiful. A leopard might be peaceful. Don't mess with it, though. Quiet, calm. And then when he goes out the house, she said, but don't be fooled. He's a lion when he goes out. And he doesn't ask whatever is going on in the house. And what I heard from that, he's a gentleman, but he's also a protector. And she trusts him. And he trusts her because he's not getting in the business. He said, you know what? Here go the money, boo-boo. Here go the money. Take care of the bills. Take care of the house. When I come in here, I know you got a handle. That sounds like a positive marriage. Moving on. Wife number 6 said, my husband, if he eats too much, leaving the dishes empty. If he drinks, he leaves nothing. And if he sleeps alone away from me. Okay, said covered in garments, and does not stretch his hand here and there so as to know how I fare, which means get along. I said, okay. He ain't affectionate. She talking about this man he is not considerate of her emotions. It sounds like he is slovenly. It sounds like he might be overweight. I'm just saying we all have our things we overdo. Okay. It sounds like he's loveless. That's a loveless marriage. And he's stingy, right? And then he got another lazy. And then he got the nerve to go to sleep and holding on that nookie. He holding out on that loving. What? It's worse than that. She said it was so important for her. Now, mind you, she's just describing this to strangers. It was so important for her to say, and if he sleeps alone away from me, covered in garments. He not only you ain't getting none of this yummy. He like, I'm gonna cover it. You can't even see none of this. You can't see none of this. That's selfish. I don't even know what to say about that. That one hit me hard. Like, wow, she was bold enough to do. These are real conversations. Okay. Wife number 7. My husband is a wrongdoer or weak and foolish. All of the defects that exist are present in him. He may injure your head or your body or may do both. Okay. When I heard and read that, I felt like I don't need this man nowhere around me. How he married? So I clearly know she get abused. And if you check him, and if you not the wife, guess what? You getting abused. He just sounds very brash, right? Very the first thing she said, even though he's aggressive and he uses physical behavior to try to get at her, the first thing she said was he was a wrongdoer, that he was weak, that he was foolish. I said, that is incredible. And not only did she take the time, because she was specific in those 3. Come on now. She said, all of the defects that exist are present in him. That's a sad place to be. These are wives of people who are married. I want you to hear the details. They are married for life and covenant. We got to be careful, people, how we describe our mates. And there are power in the words. That made my heart hurt because, again, these are people who are walking about around us every day who are either engaged or married, and they're giving their lives to be around these people. And this is how they spend their time. Moving on. We got a couple more. Wife number 8 said, my husband is soft to touch, like the softness of a rabbit, and his smell is like the smell of a kind of good smelling grass. Oh, well, that was interesting. But I mean, to each his own. I prefer a soapy. Okay, get it back. Okay, well, she said, basically, this is her describing her husband in a good way. She said the first thing is that he was soft. She wanted the people to know, my husband's soft. Touched like that was interesting. The rabbit. I mean, one or two things. He might have nice hair. He might have real soft skin, whichever. I mean, she might be talking about his demeanor. She might be talking about the way he speaks, right? She might be talking about how he interacts with her and the family and other people's around. She just basically just told us that this is a gentle, meek spirit person. This is somebody who I believe is well kept, because she was the first wife to talk about the way he smelled. And it's something about a good smelling man who got fresh breath and fresh body odor, and Whoa. She said, not only is he so gentle with me and soft, he smell good. So I believe that this husband right here present well. So she's happy. She's not about to try y'all and let y'all know anything is bad because she's pleased. She's pleased. Moving on. My husband is a tall, generous man. This is wife number 9. Wearing a long strap for carrying his sword. His ashes are abundant and his house is near to the people who would easily consult him. Listen, tell me that's not about a wife right there that's proud of her man. That's my boo. My husband is tall. My husband is generous. My husband wears a long sword, so don't check him. He's ready for action. He's a protector. He's a defender. And he know how to spend that money. He ain't going to be stingy with it. This sounds like a dependable husband, right? Sounds like she got herself a winner. And she also let me know that he presents well and he's manly. That's a manly man right now. And it sounds like he's a teacher. I was proud of that one. Wife number 10. Now, this wife used her husband's name. I'm not going to use the name, but I'm going to put the name of Bob for generic reasons because I don't want to mess up anybody. She was bold enough to say her husband's name. Now follow me. Wife number 10 said, my husband Bob. And what is Bob? Bob is greater than whatever I say about him. I'm going to keep going. He is beyond and above all praises which can come on my mind. Most of his camels are kept at home ready to be slaughtered for the guests, and only a few are taken to the pastures. When the camels hear the sound of the tambourine, they realize that they are going to be slaughtered for the guests. Now, I just said I ain't even had to read nothing else because Boo told us exactly what it was going down with her husband and her. She is a happy wife. Y'all hear this, men? Do y'all hear this? Y'all know y'all want respect. Y'all want us to talk well about you, and women, you know we want to brag. So give us something to brag about. I hope y'all learning something. She said first and foremost, she said his name. She wasn't about to sit here and play the games like the other 10 wives was. She said, because the instructions were, describe your husband without exposing anything in your marriage. She said, who, Bob? You talking about Bob? In my mind, she was doing body language. You know I'm extra. She said Bob is greater than whatever I can say about him. Now, she could have been lying or just fibbing or stretching it. But the point is, that's how she saw him. And I honor that. We want to honor you, men. Give us something to say. Who? My man? Oh, you ain't got the time to hear all the beautiful things that my husband does for me and how I see him. Matter of fact, he sound like he got that shmoney because she was like, we got the camels. The camels even know what time it is. Okay, so he running this whole household. She could have been talking about the kids. She could have been talking about the staff. Moving on. Then this is the last wife. Now, let me give a disclaimer before I get out of here. Wife number 11. This about 2 paragraphs long. And there's a point behind it, and I'm going to summarize when I get to a certain point, but I want you to hear how she started off. She also started off, I guess she heard wife number 10 and was like, oh, what? Bob. So we're going to replace her husband's name because she put her husband's name in it with Jeffrey. I don't know. If you're a Jeffrey out there, bless you. So she said, my husband Jeffrey? What is Jeffrey? What should I say about him? Okay, remember that statement. He has given me many ornaments, and my ears are heavily loaded with them, and my arms have become fat. Okay, she's tripping. And I have become fat. Moving on. Since story. And he has pleased me, and I have become so happy that I feel proud of myself. And he found me with my family who were mere owners of sheep and living in poverty, and brought me to a respected family having many animals and blah 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 blah. And she said, whatever I say, he does not rebuke or insult. When I sleep till late in the morning, and when I drink what I want. I eat what I want. She goes on and on. I ain't got time to be, listen, what we call him, Jeffrey? I ain't got time to be talking about Jeffrey. But what she said, I want 2-3 points out of what she said. The first thing she said was she was bold enough to say her man's name, right? Jeffrey. Okay. And she said the first thing that she loved about him, that he was a giver. He got money. Okay, she said, my man basically thinks about me first. He gives me ornaments. He adorns me with jewelry. He done made me fat. She played. But I get what you saying, 11th wife. He's made my arms fat. That was weird to me. But listen, he's... fat arms, but I get you, girl. If you was real skinny and hungry and your man put you, he put you on the come up, he got you so plump that your arms fat, girl. I'm with you. If you like it, I love it. We family. Come on, cousins. She said, I have become fat, but not in a bad way. And clearly, he don't care nothing about her body image. Now, remember, it's always spouses I hear about that be, when you get into marriage, listen, men, come closer. If she's skinny when you met her, listen, that ain't nothing. If you marry her for her mind and her heart and you thought she was the one, what you worried about? Weight ain't nothing. Weight can fluctuate, okay? Now, the life of 11 told you she was skinny when she met her man, okay? She was bad, basically, because he wealthy. He wealthy. He got that money, okay? So he probably could pick who he wanted. He picked her. So if she was skinny or thick already, but she was clear to say he didn't care about how my body changed. He saw that I got fat and he still loved on me. There's a message in that. And when she went on and on about how she came from poverty and he brought her into a wealthy and he honored her. And so now she is happier than she ever been. As she goes along in the story, the funny part is she talks about a previous husband. I don't want to get into it, but the point is he didn't treat her right. She says, when I was the wife of blah, 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 and it was horrible. So I think she included that to show that if you find the right one, ladies, men, your whole life can change. So we don't need to worry about what happened to us in our past or how someone who didn't respect us or honor us treated us, because they mistreated us. It's out there. You know, she's been a victim of it. The point is, when you get around that special someone, they can change your life. One more point before I get out of here. She said that made me say, oh, this is good. Love is so beautiful. She said she was so happy that I feel proud of myself. I just want y'all to take a minute, ladies. Think about that. Men. Have you ever been with somebody who in competition with you? Who try to talk down to you because they see the light in you, but they can't handle your glare? Love comment for that statement. One of my favorite quotes. She said, I feel proud of myself. Now, women, I don't know who I'm talking to, but listen, she gained weight. She changed. She ain't have a background. She ain't have all the degrees. She wasn't whatever. But he loved her and he made her feel proud. Now, before I get out of here, there was 3 things that were supposed to be takeaways in this story of the 11 women and talking about their wives. Now, I just want you to think about them. I don't have too much to say about it. Go find it, read the book, whatever. They said the point of this, what you should learn, men, is that every woman needs a man. I'm just telling you what it said. And when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I can see how they would say that maybe you're better. She, you know, wife number 11, she was on the come up when she found her man. So maybe if that's what they're talking about, great. And you know, everybody needs, well, it's not good for a man to be alone. I believe that. Okay. And another point was a woman is like a prisoner under the love of her husband. Now that one really resonated with me, and I'm gonna have to teach on that sometime because I believe that. And I thought that was a powerful way to place the words. A woman is like a prisoner under the love of her husband. Now, this could go both ways. I don't care what you say. Men and women, because we talk about submission, and women are not supposed to be submissive to the point where they feel like prisoners. But honestly, if you are in a horrible marriage or you're not being respected, men or women, or being abused, hopefully not, whatever it is, that person is like a prisoner. And lastly, before I get out of here, they said previously, and if someone is previously married or in another relationship, that treatment that they received, love or lack of, it is engraved like stone in their hearts. That's pretty powerful, people. So remember, all you players or lack of players, people married, people looking to be married, we got to be careful how we handle people. We got to be careful. Men, if you want your wives to speak highly of you, give them something to work with. Women, if you feel like, talking about your man in these streets is going to be a positive way of getting him to change, it's not, because really we're just looking at you like, oh, dang, girl, what? I mean, you come to me with it, I'm going to be like, girl, girl, ain't that something? No judgment, because we family, but just listen. I hope you learned something today. Know that love is important, and how you treat somebody, it's a seed that's planted in them, and then you can either blossom it or you can kill it. And I hope you're not out here killing these seeds, but I hope, and I know that we family, and this is for somebody else, that we're going to be out here spreading love, and we're going to get these relationships. Why? Because if you thought it, I thought it, and I'm definitely going to be the one to say it. Anyway, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all.